Yo, what's up everyone? This is my first movie review. Just got to them now, and the first film I decided to do, holy shit. Strangers, Prey at Night. So Strangers 2, Prey at Night, I'm pretty sure is a sequel to Strangers, and this movie is fucking trash. So the reason why I decided to see this film though was it sort of held a nostalgic purpose to me. I ended up going to a birthday party, in which case like there was a bunch of our buddies from like public school or whatever, and the movie we decided to watch at night was called The Strangers, and it was fucking terrifying. It took place in one place, and I can't remember the entire story, but I know that it takes place at one house with two people that, you know, obviously have like a little bit of tension in their love life, and then three people with this mask, and this mask. They're pretty much one-note villains. All they want to do is kill. I saw the Jeremy Jahns review, okay? I knew the verdict. It starts off, Strangers 2, Prey at Night. With, obviously, I've seen the trailers, it does have the three original people, presumably not played by the same actors, but given the same identities, probably in this universe. The dad played by Martin Henderson, this man right here. Never heard of him before. He's a trash actor. It was absolutely trash to watch it. I'm not saying I could act better than that, but holy crap, you could tell that this was his first big budget film. Holy crap, did he suck. Like, he was not a convincing dad at all. It's just bad, and his death scene is just horrible. Oh, it's terrible, dude. This guy is fucking trash, though. Holy shit. Like, I definitely know this is his biggest budget film, and I'm not going to click on it. Like, I don't know his database, because I think that if I clicked on it, I would show interest in Martin Henderson, and I think he's a terrible actor, and I'm requesting no one to click on his page. No, I'm kidding. That's the dad. And then you go to Christina Hendricks, who plays Cindy, the mother. She's a ginger woman, so she's married to this blonde man who's a terrible actor. The chemistry in this movie is horrible, like from start to finish. Like whether the brother or the sister, or even the fucking villains, but definitely the wife and the husband, they're terrible. And there's a lot of forced dialogue, and there's like, oh, remember this time back in the day, or like, you know, they talk about nostalgic things that they went through and to build like character development, but it didn't build anything. And then it goes to the brother, who is presumably a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid who's played by a 25-year-old dude probably, and his name is Lewis Pullman. Now, he was probably the most appealing actor in this film, not saying a lot, but he did actually give the, like every time he was on screen at least, it was kind of cool. He looks nothing like his sister, by the way, nothing like his mom, and nothing like his dad. So then you have the sister, who's probably the main protagonist of this film, and she looks like a different version of Ariel Winter. So her name is Bailey Madison. She doesn't do well in the film at all. So this family doesn't make much sense at all. So it's just a bunch of random people that just don't look alike and have bad chemistry. She's being shipped off to boarding school. The main girl, Kenzie, or whatever her fucking name is. And they're broke because they've been spending a lot of money on her, and they're trying to get her life sorted out because, you know, they want their kid to be good. Luke is like a little, I don't really want to go with this, like, oh, our parents are spending a lot of money on you, blah blah blah. And they have like a brother-sister relationship, but it's not a good one. Anyways, they end up going to this trailer park where their uncle is. Mike's brother, so their uncle, the kid's uncle, is presumably has a place at this trailer park, so they decide to go there, and they have a note that is left there that says, okay, we'll see you in the morning, blah blah blah. This is pretty much where they all sit in a room, and they're all like having this character development, and it's fucking trash. They play cards, it's bad, and then the dad tries to talk to his daughter, and then she gets mad, so she runs off, and in which case they send the brother to go after the daughter. So they send Luke to go after Kenzie, and he ends up finding her, and then they find this open trailer, and they're like, hey, let's go explore for some reason. So it's a very typical movie, like it runs very typical, so all the characters are stupid. They make one bad decision that lands into another bad decision, and it's pretty much the same shit over and over, and it cycles. They go to this open trailer park, in which case they find their uncle who's dead. They're like, oh my god, our uncle's dead. We gotta go find mom and dad. Which way did we come from again? You know, that's what fucking Kenzie says, and Luke is like, I don't know, because I'm Luke, and I don't know where the fuck we are. So it's, you know, great dialogue. They end up finding their parents, and they describe, oh my god, we found our uncle, and he's all cut up and shit, blah blah blah. So then Mike is like, okay, son, Luke, we gotta go find him. You girls go back to the trailer, you'll be safe there. Obviously, splitting up's a bad idea. Obviously, the girls are gonna get tracked down first, and obviously, they probably have keys, they've probably been in the place since you guys been gone. Like, everywhere is dangerous now. Cindy and Kinsey end up going back to their trailer park, in which case they see all their phones and they're smashed. They end up turning around and they see the girl with this mask landing in a normal situation. They run away from the girl. They lock themselves in a bathroom for some reason. Then the trailer obviously has this big window piece, in which case, Kenzie can jump out of and then, pull her mom up from. The scary girl with the mask starts breaking in the door. Kenzie gets up, but she's trying to get her mom up and her mom dies. And it's like, it's so not dramatic. It's not suspenseful. It's obvious that was going to happen, but it's like she just walks up to her and she tries to make it all creepy. Like she puts her mask right by her face and then starts stabbing her. And then Kenzie starts going, "Mom, I love you." And Cindy's like, "Get out of here, daughter. Get out of here." And so then you go back to the son, Luke, and the father, Mike. And they're at his uncle's, so his brothers, Mike's brothers, and he's dead. And he's like, "Oh, fuck." So he ends up running, and he's like, "Oh, he has a gun. Because he sees one of the bad guys, this guy with the mask. He's really, really famous. Probably the best one. Pretty much, they're armed now, but by this point, like, the guy's gone, obviously. So they end up making a split run for it. Holy fuck, it's horrible. Like, Mike ends up getting back with Luke, and they find out that Cindy's dead. Kenzie's been running around ever since. So when her mom died, she's just been running. So Mike is like, "Okay, we gotta get in the van and search for Kenzie." And they look at his dead wife. Like, Mike goes to Cindy and starts crying, and it's like all suspenseful, and then he runs and picks up Luke, and he's like, "Don't worry, we gotta get out of here." And then their emotion just switches like that. They start going in their van, and in which case they get hit by this. Like, someone throws like a dead body, maybe like just something. They throw something at the car, so it distracts Mike, and then Mike ends up driving, and then he hits another trailer, in which case, huge plank that just rips through his stomach, and he's just sitting there and crashed, and Luke wakes up, and Luke tries to get Mike to, like, Dad, are you okay? Obviously he's gonna die. Such a shitty death, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go for help," so he leaves. In the camera, you can see the subtle shots that they obviously use. Like, John Carpenter has inspired a lot of scary movies, okay? So when you see in the background, there's a lot of, being like, there's a white mask or there's a person standing there in the shadows. It's usually inspired from him. And then he'd walked around, and then he sat right beside the dad when he was dying. So he got in the broken down car and he sat right beside him, the guy in the bag hat, like, the sack hat, got a screwdriver and then stabbed him in the neck. It was fucking terrible. Like, but the death was so bad. And they had this thing where they liked playing old, like 70s, 80s songs on the radio. So, like, whenever, like, they were at the pool or when they were at the diner or anywhere they would be, like, they'd turn on their car radio, they'd just turn on whatever sounded appealing to them, which was always 70s, 80s music, and it would be, like, a really rusty radio. So it's like it tried to give it that kind of tone. The content they have is probably about 25 to 40 minutes of content, but then they were like, "Okay, what do? We gotta, like, really expand this movie." So what they decided to do was make these really fucking long ass shots. So, like, a swing set in the fog, a shed in the background. It's very, like, one note even for the cinematography, but they would show the swing in the sun, or the swing in the foggy night. They would show that sequence, and it would be a slow pan on that for like 25 seconds. Like, it wouldn't even be like a 10-second, 5-second. There would be no subtlety of any character in there. It was just these weird fucking keystones on the swing sets. So it was fucking just so stupid. So obviously you knew that they were shoving in these long ass shots so they could make an hour-and-a-half film, because there was not enough content. Luke is still alive. Luke actually goes out and finds his sister, in which case his sister has found one of the girls, the main girl. She stabs Kenzie a couple times, in which case Luke pulls the gun on this stranger and says, "Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah." And then Kenzie's like, pull the gun, pull the trigger. And he never ends up doing it because he's too much of a pussy. So they end up running away, and now she has a huge wound on her leg and like a huge scratch mark. Then they end up making it to this place, in which case they're just there and they're talking about here's some more character development. They start talking about, like, family events and, like, past stuff. He was like, "Remember when I fell off my bicycle and my leg was all blue? And Mom asked what happened. She said, 'What the fuck was that?'" And then Kenzie was like, "Yeah, that's exactly how she would have said it too." And it's like, they're trying to build this character relationship, but it's like these two people look like they have more of a love interest than they are brother and sister. They're just talking, and then Sackhead, ends up running, like driving his truck right through this trailer. And they're like, oh, what the fuck? And it's like, you know, a cheap jump scare. And then they end up running away. They split up because he hides Kenzie somewhere. So Luke goes to run off, goes to this diner, in which case, obviously, he's hunted down by all of them. And then they turn on this creepy music, and then he grabs this golf club, and he's walking out by the pool. And then one of these girls that you don't see until half of the movie, because it only shows this girl and this sack hat guy. It doesn't show this girl at all. It shows her like half in the movie, and she actually speaks at one point. It shows her in this scene at the diner pool area, in which case she starts running for Luke, and he turns around, just sees her, and clubs her. Obviously, it wasn't a girl, actually. It was a dude playing this character, because she had some pipes too. Not to mention all of the shots in this movie. Holy fuck. Some of the shots, they don't change. It'll be a whole conversation, and it'll be a shot from way back here, and it'll start just panning in for like 3 minutes. And it won't go to close-ups, no two shots, no medium shots, no establishing, nothing. But back to the pool, clocks her, just drops her, and then she ends up waking up, and then he starts stabbing her. And in which case, Sackhead comes over, and he has his fucking, like, axe, and he's like, oh, we're gonna fight now. So he pulls an axe on him, and he starts trying to fight him, but it's just weak, and then they go in the pool, and then Luke ends up getting stabbed by Sackhead in the back after he loses his butcher knife, and you're like, oh, he's dead. So he starts, like, swimming, and Sackhead leaves the pool, and he's like swimming, he's like doping around, but he makes it to the edge, in which case Kenzie's all of a sudden there, because she abandoned her post by trying to be safe to find Luke, because she knew Luke was in trouble. She tried to pull Luke up, she pulled Luke up, and then she hit him in the diner, and then went after the people. The one police officer ends up making it to Kenzie. He's like, are you okay, are you okay? In which case, this girl comes in and she stabs him from behind. And it's like, what? How did this police officer not see him? Why is there only one police officer responding to this emergency call? Because Luke ends up making this emergency call, and holy shit, does it not do justice. And then Kenzie gets in the car, in the police cruiser, and then the stranger has the keys, and she's dangling in front of the window, and then she ends up getting in the car, and then she starts throwing her knife around and slicing up Kenzie's hand, and you can hear it, and it's like, oh fuck. But then Kenzie ends up pulling up the officer's shotgun, and then shoots her right out of the car, and then she's still fucking alive. She's like pushing herself back. Kenzie ends up coming up, rips her mask off. He's like, why are you doing this? She's like, why not? It's such a fucking bad line. Why not? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my god. So she blasts her head with a shotgun. And then she gets into the police cruiser, in which case you see the headlights of the Sackhead's truck in behind. So she gets crashed in behind from the guy, from Sackhead. Then Sackhead goes and drives around, and then T-bones her a couple times, in which case she falls out of the truck. But then she sees a bunch of gasoline that's underneath the trucks, and Sackhead's truck is now jammed with the police car, because he smashed it so many times, and now like the front bumper like has released a little bit and is like wrapped around the grill of the car, like underneath it. And it's like he can't back up, so he's going in reverse, and he's like trying to back up, but he can't get out of there. So Sackhead ends up like he's stuck, and then he sees Kenzie, and Kenzie gets the lighter, and she's like, she pulls it out because she sees all the gasoline under the two cars, and then she throws it, and then the cars blow up. So then she starts walking back, and it's like, oh, you think this is the end of the movie. But then the truck ends up coming released, and it's on fire completely, and then Sackhead starts driving after her, but very slowly. And I don't know why Kenzie decides to run down the strip of the road, because if she ran off, she wouldn't be hit. But he's not driving very fast anyways. It's like, okay, how is he still alive? Because he's on fire, the entire truck's on fire, and he's just after her. So, and she's just running down the main strip road, and then she sees, oh, there's a bridge over there. I'm going to run down that because there's no, like, it's just a main strip. I can't go right or left. I can only go straight. Let's go to the place where I'll definitely be trapped, is what she said. So she ends up running on that, in which case Sackhead's truck on fire is following her still. And she falls over and on the bridge, and she looks back, and the truck is almost there. And then Sackhead gets out, and he brings his axe, and then he's about to kill her, but then he drops to his knees, and then he falls down flat. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, what? You drove this whole way on fire, not trying to hit her, making it to this bridge, in which case she falls down clumsy, and you have her in a straight strip, and she's on the ground, and you've been on fire this entire time driving, like I said, and you don't kill her? Like, he just drops to the ground. She walks out, and she's just trying to find help, and then these people come by, and she's like, help me, help me, help me. And they stop, and they try to help her, but they see the Sackhead is behind her, is behind Kenzie again, and then he whips his axe across Kenzie, and Kenzie dodges it. The civilians ended up seeing him, so they start driving away with their truck as Kenzie jumps into the back of it, and then Sackhead actually gets onto the truck and he's latched on. And he has, like, I don't know how the fuck he's still alive, bro, but he gets his axe and he's like swinging it like crazy, and then she finds a bat in the back of the truck, and then she ends up just like smashing his head and he falls right off. And it's like, bro, and that was the end of the film. Like, it was horrible. It was horrible. And you're like, oh, what happened to her brother? So they have this after scene, like the final scene, in which case she wakes up and she's in a hospital with her brother in the same room, and he's okay because he was only stabbed in the tailbone or something like that. And then she gets a glass of water, and then someone knocks really hard on the hospital door, and then she drops it as if they're still there. So my verdict of the movie is it's fucking shit. Never fucking watch it. It's absolutely dog shit. It's like a 2 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 10. Like, it's not a good watch at all. Like, I would definitely not suggest watching it. But it was funny because all 3 characters died. All 3 of them. All 3 of the strangers. So at least we know there won't be a sequel. In a way, that's nice. Alright guys, everyone subscribe to me, Let's All Be Llamas Video Productions, because I'm going to do a hell of a lot more movie reviews, and presumably with more people, and a nicer set. This is just my first one, so get ready for y'all, and see ya.
Holy fuck.
What?
You talked so